Hi everyone, it's Nadine, Public Programs Coordinator at Royal Botanical Gardens. In the depths of winter, dreaming of your garden ahead can be extremely humbling. During these dreary, gray days, I'll often look back at the hundreds of photos I took this past season of my own garden. I'm sure there are many of us gardeners doing the exact same thing right now. When I think about my garden ahead, I'd like to reflect on the ups and downs of the season past. What did I plant that worked really well? What not so much, and what am I willing to try again? A garden journal can be extremely useful to keep track of this and help you with next season's planning. These are my notes from 2020 that likely wouldn't make sense to anyone else reading this journal. Fork kales are good, eggplants liked the pots, nasturtium and zucchini did well together, a whole lot of check marks by carrots and yellow banana peppers. Those did really well. After taking a look back in time through my photos and my journal, I like to pull out my ever-growing collection of seeds. Right now I have them organized by plant type, but I may soon reorganize by planting date because why not? This time of year, it's helpful to do a seed inventory to figure out what you still have, what you'll need, but most importantly, what you want. For me, it can be easy to go way overboard when the seed catalogs arrive in the mail, but by doing this inventory and checking in with other vegetable gardening friends, it helps to keep my plans and my wallet in check. At this point, I can really start planning my next steps. Using my postal code, I can find my plant hardiness zone and last frost date online, which is typically sometime in early May where I live. I will mark this date in my calendar in all caps because it might be one of my favorite days of the entire year. I like to get pencil and paper and draw my beds out by hand. Graph paper can be helpful to delineate measurements, especially if you are square foot gardening. There are a variety of useful online planning tools that you can use as well, though, if you prefer to go this route. If you have a plan from last year, take a look and try to mix up where you're planting things from the year before. Avoid putting crops in the same spot year after year to help ward off pests and disease and to keep your soil healthy. I like to add the sun into my plan. I know that the beds closer to my house get less hours of sun, and these shadier areas would be better suited to lettuces or brassicas, where the peppers and tomatoes will really love these sunnier locations. Whether you have shade or sun, there's something out there that will flourish in those conditions, especially if you're topping up your soil with compost in the spring or the fall. You'll also want to consider the size of your plants. Putting squash at the garden borders or edges of your raised bed so they could spill over into your paths, and try your lettuce in the shade of a taller plant to save space and provide the conditions that they prefer. You can save a lot of space by direct sowing certain veggies right outside. Peas, carrots, beets, and radish can all be planted as soon as the soil is ready to be worked, while beans and squash can be direct sown in early June, by the time some of these spring crops might be getting harvested. Planning ahead for what you want to start as seedlings and direct sowing in the early or late spring can help you get the most out of a small space. More tender crops like tomatoes, basil, eggplants, and peppers prefer a head start and do well to plant outside as seedlings to get the most of the growing season. I'll start these indoors in mid-March, about 8 weeks before I can begin their transition to living outdoors. Another date that I mark in my calendar, in all caps, is the day that I start my seedlings. Every year I like to try something new. Last year it was cantaloupe. It only grew to be the size of a baseball, but that's okay. It was super cute, and I'll try again. Adding a fun and maybe unusual plant can be very exciting and extremely rewarding. Plan to stay motivated throughout the season by growing the food you like to eat. If you don't like eggplants, don't grow them. Consider getting the best bang for your buck too. Perhaps try peppers instead of carrots at home. Peppers can be expensive to buy, and you could get the carrots from your local farmer's market. The same goes for larger plants. Growing a watermelon in a small garden could take up lots of space, but you can find this at the farmer's market instead, if you get there early enough. Also, think about the herbs you love to cook with, or that you could infuse into vinegars, oils such as thyme, basil, rosemary, sage. These all make great companions for the garden and can help ward off unwanted pests, provide an amazing sensory benefit, and can be plugged in pretty much anywhere, especially in containers. If you have a small space, think about where you could add a trellis to grow vertically, and look for plants that grow well in containers by searching the plant descriptions or seed packs for words like compact, dwarf, or container. All of these things can help you stay motivated, especially when pests and weeds start to take over your garden. So lastly, just don't overthink it. There's really no right or wrong way to go about your vegetable garden. And after just one season, you'll have so much more knowledge to bring with you into next year. It's really an ongoing and very tasty experiment. You'll learn as you go, and that's all part of the fun. Thanks everybody. Happy gardening.